Hey everyone, it's time again to recap the latest news of the solar industry compiled by the American Solar Energy Society. I'm Jay Warmke with SolarPVTraining.com, and this is what's happening in the wonderful world of solar for the week of November 24th. Now, companies across the United States are investing in record levels in solar and energy storage to power their operations. According to CEA, the Solar Energy Industries Association, their new report, Solar Means Business, reports that Meta retains its top spot as the top corporate solar user with nearly 5.2 gigawatts of capacity, while Google is the leading energy storage company with 936 megawatt hours of installed battery capacity. Now that's 25% more than the rest of the top 10 companies combined. Meta, Google, and Amazon added the most solar to their electricity portfolios in the first quarter of 2024 and have the largest pipeline for new procurements for solar under contract. Technology companies and retail companies such as Apple, Walmart, Target, Microsoft, Digital Realty, which is a data center company, Verizon, and Home Depot round out the top 10 companies for installed solar. Technology firms have become the dominant industry investing in solar as electricity demand soars to keep pace with data centers that are developing. Amazon is the nation's leading procurer with 13.6 gigawatts under contract, while Meta and Google are seeking to add about 6 gigawatts of solar to their portfolio. A generation source that comes from renewable energy that's coming online in 2023 spent an average of 5 years progressing from requesting a connection to the grid to commercial operations. That's up from 2 years for projects that were built between the year 2000 and 2007. So how much is this delay costing the economy? Well, according to a new report produced by Power Advisory, it's estimated that fixing generation interconnection delays could result in $100 billion of economic benefits to the U.S. economy and save Americans more than 1 million jobs. The report calls for reform to the interconnection process, finding that expediting the queue process could boost the deployment of grid-scale clean energy by 60% by the year 2030 and by 90% by the year 2040. Now, this would supply almost 50 million homes with 100% clean energy by 2030 and about 71 million homes by 2040. The latest directive from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, requires regional grid operators to consult with states on plans to fix this process. Earlier this year, Advanced Energy United released a scorecard assessing how grid operators were doing. The California and Texas authorities fared the best with an assessment earning a grade of about a B, while New England and the PJM region placed at the bottom with a D plus and a D minus respectively. President-elect Donald Trump has named Chris Wright, CEO of Denver-based Liberty Energy, as his nominee for Energy Secretary. Liberty Energy is an oil and gas company focused primarily on fracking. In fact, Liberty fracks about 20% of all of the onshore wells in the U.S. Wright has been one of the industry's loudest voices against efforts to fight climate change. He's denied in public statements and in testimony to Congress that there is a connection between burning fossil fuels and extreme weather, claiming that storms are not getting more intense. He is quoted as saying, quote, "We have seen no increase in the frequency and intensity of hurricanes, tornadoes, droughts, or floods, despite endless fear-mongering in the media and politicians and activists. The only thing resembling a crisis with respect to climate change is the regressive opportunity-squelching policies justified in the name of climate change," he added. The Energy Department is responsible for advancing energy, environmental, and nuclear security within the United States. The agency is in charge of maintaining the country's nuclear weapons, It oversees 17 national research laboratories and approves natural gas exports, as well as ensuring that the environmental cleanup of the nation's nuclear weapons complex. Guidance last week from the U.S. Treasury Department and the IRS was given on final regulations for direct pay provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act that will help entities that co-own clean energy projects and receive or want to access energy tax credits. Prior to the Inflation Reduction Act, many entities like state or local governments, public schools, rural electric co-ops, tax-exempt organizations like churches, hospitals, higher education institutions, nonprofits, they could not access any of the tax benefits from installing solar because they paid no federal income taxes. The direct pay option within the IRA enables these organizations to essentially get paid directly by the U.S. government so they can access these benefits rather than receive their payment in the form of a tax credit. The guidance the Treasury issued last week provides greater clarity when a direct pay eligible organization, a nonprofit, goes in partnership with a for-profit organization that is not eligible for direct pay. So how does that payment work? Well, the guidance now says that the entity that is eligible for direct pay can receive their payment as direct pay, and the entity that is not eligible can receive their portion of the payment as a tax credit. Now, prior to this ruling, it was unclear whether or not such partnerships would in fact be eligible for the tax credits at all. And that is the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you next week.